Sticks and Stones podcast is sponsored by A Natural Alternative. Soaps, bath fizzies, car air fresheners, lip balms, and other products that are handmade locally in Pennsylvania from all natural materials that are vegan, vegetarian, and most are gluten-free. Join us for a giveaway of some of these products. Post a comment or a picture of a project you're working on at our Ravelry group or at our blog, sticksandstonespodcast.wordpress.com, to enter to win. Or you can also find these products at the upcoming Music Fest in Bethlehem, PA, the first week of August. Hi, I'm Sue, and welcome to Sticks and Stones number 9.
I'm Julia. I'm so glad you guys made it again this week.
On this episode of Sticks and Stones, our DIY project is learning how to dye wool yarn. We'll see what Sue's been up to making table runners, and we'll check out all the new stitch markers Julia's made to put in her Etsy shop. Come join us! So what have you been doing?
Well, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. No. I finished my necklace finally, the one that we've been working on.
Necklace.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really well.
It does, and it goes right with that shirt.
I've been, practicing my squishing of beads, and I even used the 3. I'll take this off. I'll show you. I went out and I got tornado crimps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning, and I did that.
Nice.
So, excuse me, forgive my voice today. The last necklace I made, I actually ended up getting poked by that wire a whole lot. So your tutorial really helped me, and this is nice and smooth.
Nice.
So I'm really happy.
I'm
really happy with it. It turned out good.
It looks beautiful.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I've been practicing my beading some more by making some stitch markers. I've got them all hung here on my needle, so it's hard to see. I'll show you guys pictures individually later, but there's some little clear ones and some black ones and some red ones and some green ones. And I'm going to have these up listed in my Etsy shop, which is, it's under Wee Sheep. I'll stick a little thing for you guys. But yeah, these will be up for sale. So I'm hoping that my newfound skills will
Pay off?
Yeah, will pay off a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've been knitting too, believe it or not. I made another monster. This is Slimer. Not really Slimer, but
I like this one. I like him. He's green.
yeah,
He's very
turned
cute.
out very cute. I haven't decided on a mouth yet.
Hey, look, you could put stuff on top and he could be an artichoke.
Good. Yeah, I didn't think about vegetables.
Vegetables.
Yes, so that's my monster, and then I made these little mitts.
Oh, those are cute.
These are based on a Turkish pattern, and they're actually supposed to be worn over a pair of gloves, so they're a little loose, so they're like a second layer.
Just to make the gloves look snazzier, or to keep you warmer, or both?
Both.
Oh,
And then you can, wear them like this too.
nice.
And you can experiment with them however you like, because these are for you.
Well, thank you. That was very nice of you.
I figure that everybody needs something hand knit, and who am I to not have a co-host without some kind of hand knit? So those are for you to wear this fall.
All
and
right,
enjoy.
well, I think I'll wear them this show. Maybe
go.
not while I'm dying.
Yeah, no, we take them off while we're dying, but
So I was on vacation, so most of my creativity was put into building a trail through the woods. So I haven't done a lot of crafty stuff. The only thing I've been working on really is I got a hankering to make table runners. So this one I started. I got this cute mushroom fabric at Joanne, and this is actually canvas. This is actually an outdoor fabric.
Okay.
The stripey in between, and so it's not finished, but this is the one side, and it's going to be reversible, so this is going to be the other side.
Oh, cool.
And this is a jewel dewberry print with the birds, and this is a little fat quarter from Joanne's. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's nice fall colors.
Yeah, they're really pretty. They could be really springy too with the green. So
Yes,
double do
you could
that.
actually do this any time of year, except for
Which is
maybe
nice.
winter. And then the other one, I just cut the pieces. I haven't actually put it together. These are all linens. And so I'm going to line them up like this. Sort of. I just did random ones all together, and then the central piece is going to be this ladybug one.
Very pretty.
Yeah, I really like it. And then the other pieces will be on the sides.
I like that they're neutral, but they're not, you know.
Yes.
There's definitely some.
Yeah, and I'm going to mix them up.
it.
Even though they're the same, there's 2 of everyone, I'm not going to put them in the same order on
Okay.
either side. So that's the plan. We'll see how I feel once I actually start sewing them together. So,
Cool.
yes. So, that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that, and the only other thing that is exciting in my life is I got the the darks of those cotton solids.
Oh, right.
Which I should have taken them out of here before.
Mm.
Aren't those pretty?
Yeah.
I think that was last time I showed the lights
Yes.
that I got. These are the Kona cotton solids, and so now these are the darks.
These are so much more I'm
Yeah,
not a pastel
really-
girl. I love this.
They're really vivid. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I could probably put one with one of these.
Yeah.
That would look nice. Any of those would look nice with this. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Not a whole lot, but
Very
something.
cool, yeah. All right, well, we are, as you said, we're dyeing today, and
We're dyeing over here.
Yeah. She's full
We're
of it
dyeing yarn,
today.
really.
That is
That's
true.
right.
We're dyeing
That's
yarn.
right. We're dyeing yarn.
And our kids are going to help us for part of it, so you'll see that this is a pretty child-friendly craft. So they will be demonstrating how to hand paint yarn with Wilton food dyes.
That's the great part. It's Wilton food dyes, so they're color safe. You can use all your dishes that
Yeah.
you have in your kitchen without
Nothing.
worrying about, are they going to leave a chemical residue on here?
Yeah, there's nothing special. Everything is natural, non-toxic, so it's really cool to be able to play with color like that and to involve everybody. But we are going to be doing some other techniques as well. We'll show you some kettle dyeing, and we're going to try hand painting in a slightly more adult fashion. So stick around, and
Yep.
we'll be right back.
Yes.
Today we're going to show you how to hand paint yarn using food coloring. We're starting with a bare yarn that is an animal base. You don't want to use a cotton or a synthetic base because the food coloring will not stick to the yarn. We have cling wrap to protect our table and also to wrap the yarn in for when we cook it. We have vinegar to set the dye. We have various colors of Wilton food coloring dissolved in water. You're going to want a bowl, some gloves, and a sponge or turkey baster, something like that, to get the dye from the jar to the yarn. And then you're going to want some kind of Pyrex for when you're finished so that you can cook the yarn and set the dye. Okay, to start off, and this has already been done, you're going to soak your yarn in a vinegar water mixture. You want 1/4 cup of vinegar to every quart of water. So our yarn has been soaked and is ready to go. And what we're going to do now is you're going to put on your glove and you're going to take a sponge. Now you want to dip your sponge into the color dye that you want close to your yarn so that you don't drip all over the table. And then gently squeeze the sponge, pat it in the area that you want that color to be. Okay? And then you're going to get a clean sponge for each color. You don't want to mix colors on your sponge or you're going to get one big muddy brown skein of yarn, which may be your ultimate decision, but maybe not. So each time you want a new color, choose a new sponge and then squeeze it on. If you like the way it looks with white spots in between, that's great. Otherwise, you may use your gloved hand and squish it all together. You want it to be kind of soupy. You don't want it to be all dry, okay?
That's practically orange.
And you can get your fingers right in there.
What
It's
color is that?
okay.
The copper that you're working on?
This is the brown.
Well, yeah.
What color are you working on?
I'm using the brown copper brown.
Oh, right. That was the brown and the copper mixed together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yours is just the copper color?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're done with this color, if you have as much as you want, you go on to a new color. And remember that your yarn is not just one layer thick, so you want to really get that color all the way through to the back.
I was trying to even.
It looks good. You can't really do anything wrong with this. It is what it is.
Should I use a different sponge for a different color?
You should.
Okay. I want this blue. I'm gonna use the light green.
So these are going to be striped then because of the way that they're putting dots in different places, right? Because you skein the yarn and then you're going to pull it apart. So it'll be like, there'll be a bit of copper and then a bit of green or whatever color it is.
Yes, each strand will be the same, but when you work it up, it's going to look like stripes.
Look at the...
Neat.
So what would happen if you striped it the other way? What if you put like all one color here and then all one color here?
You probably get more of a gradient look when you're done. It would be longer bunches of color.
Okay.
Because you'd have to get through that whole big long section before it changed, rather than little short variegations.
And so you said that we need to hand wash this, correct?
When we are done and the yarn is all cooked, we're going to wash it real good with some mild dish soap and cold water, just to make sure that nothing's leaking out. And then it should be, if you don't see any dye coming out when you do that, you should be good to go. It really depends on how well the dye has set. So you just saw the kids dyeing with sponges and yarn similarly to how we're doing it, but Sue and I have decided we're going to try putting the dye on a little bit more strategically and also a little bit more
Vibrantly.
Yeah, by using the actual little pots and toothpicks to kind of stick it where we want it and then brush it in with the rest of the colors. Sue started with some real dark blue, and you can see how where she put the dye, it's really, really vibrant. And I'm just using a little bit of copper, and I'm dotting it all over my skein to see if I can get kind of a little bit of a tweedy effect. We've got a couple of surprises since the dye has settled now, and what I thought was purple is now green. So
That's my very loud bird.
we'll kind of see how this goes.
Yes. Yeah, the kids' yarn turned out really nice, but it was very pastel, which we weren't expecting. And so I decided, hey, I want mine a little brighter. So I decided to just put the cake dye right on. Although the thing to remember is that this will stain. So wear old clothes or an apron.
Or dark clothes, if you don't care. Black and brown works well. And you want to wear gloves, or your fingers will turn the color of the dye.
And these are just the Wilton gels that you get from Michael's or any cake decorating store. These actually came in a kit for my kid. They work really well. I was so impressed with the colors that we got, yes, with the kids' yarns.
It's really fun to see how each person's mind kind of takes the colors and mixes them. You never get the same product twice, and I have to say I'm in awe at some of the dyers out there who can recreate their colors like over and over and over again. I am not sure I could do that, but this is kind of fun.
This is way fun, especially mixing the colors. That's what my kids were getting into, dumping all the dyes together to make different colors, which was fun because the pink dye, when we mixed up the pink dye in the jar, it looked kind of orange.
Yeah.
But then when you touched it, it would be pink, and it was vibrantly pink, but it looked a different color in the jar. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's neat. Well, I think mine's going to have chicken pox.
What do you think of using the brush? I'm not as crazy about using the brush as I am the sponge. I think you can get more.
Yeah, I'm not sure
water
that
on
I'm
it.
getting enough
It's a
saturation.
mess.
But kind of fun nonetheless. And you want to make sure, I mean, there's two parts. One, if you want to leave white spaces, leave white spaces. Just don't stick the colors right up next to each other. There will be bleeding between colors if you're using, reds tend to bleed more than some other colors, so just keep that in mind. And then make sure that your yarn is saturated all the way through the skein, all the way through to the back. Otherwise, the front will be colored and the back will be white. And that may or may not be a good thing.
You also mentioned that we're going to have to make sure that we rinse this really well, because you can see there's cake dye right there. And if we don't rinse, either use the sponge to really work it in, or rinse it well when we get to the rinsing phase, it's going to continue bleeding for many moons.
Right. Now see, like mine, I put the little dots of the cake dye on the top, but on the back, it's still pretty much solid. So I'm going to flip mine over now and see what I can do on the other side. It's completely different front to back. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these work once you ball them up.
Yeah, and what comes out here is going to be completely different in the knitted fabric, because right now we're looking at it in one long strand, where that's going to be broken up into whatever size pattern. I'm going to try some purple. Let's see what happens when I throw a little purple in this. Could be disastrous. Who knows?
I suppose you could always re-dye it and just make everything black, right?
Yeah, you can. You can over dye. Although I was reading, black is an interesting color because it's actually not black. It's a combination of a couple of other darks. So if you don't do it just right, it will break in the dye. Like when you put it on, it'll turn into several different shades. So what you think is black may end up being gray,
50 Shades of Grey?
red, pink, yeah, something. So I don't know. I'd like to try it. I have this really odd skein of of yellow that's going to be my kettle dye tester. I'll show you guys in a few minutes and see how that.
So you could do hand painting like this. This is how some people do it, correct? And you can use the cake dye, you could use RIT dye, which is what you use usually for tie dyeing.
Right.
Or you could use Kool-Aid.
Yes. Yep, Kool-Aid works, or even regular food coloring in those little dropper bottles. That would work too. I have one spot that's just not picking up the dye.
Huh.
And you can smoosh it. I think mine is saturated. About as good as it's going to get.
I don't know what I'm doing next.
I like the colors you're getting though. That green and the blue together are really vibrant. They're really pretty. Okay. And put a little couple specks on this side too. Why not?
Did you just flip it over?
Yep.
This is making me hungry. It looks like spaghetti.
All right, well, stick with us and we'll show you our finished products in a few minutes. And hopefully you guys will get the bug to try a little dyeing. And again, as always, you can pop this up on our Ravelry group or leave us a comment in the bottom of our website. And we would love to, excuse me, we'd love to hear from you. Pardon me, my goodness.
Yes, and let us know what you're using, because we have to use what, either wool or alpaca or something.
Some
like
kind
that?
of animal-based fiber. Yep,
Right.
for the food coloring. The acid dyes will take the other fibers too, I believe.
Like RIT, because that's used on cotton.
Right.
Yeah, but we'd love to see it. If you try dyeing, and I would love to see people's yarns.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
All right, thanks, and we'll see you again.
Have a great week.
Bye.